This is the Hyundai Kona facelift model that I've covered before on the channel. Today we're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with the new Hyundai Kona. The big questions are, is it a bigger boot? What is the new range with the new size wheels? And what else could it be missing? We're going to look at the under the bonnet of the old Kona first. Now, first of all, we're going to put this catch up here, just keep this from falling on my head. Now, one thing that people always complained about the old Kona was this big space that didn't have a frunk, and they just thought Hyundai didn't think about anything. Now, it has got a heat pump on this version, but this was a paid option on the Ultimate. So the chap who bought this actually had an optional option to add the heat pump. He also had the option of leaving all the leaves underneath the bonnet when we filmed. So the first thing that's very obvious on the new Kona is no hands. They finally put some struts underneath here. And the next obvious thing here is this massive, what you think would be like an engine cover. But Hyundai have actually fit a frunk. So now you can put your cables under here and it's all neatly put together. The other thing, they finally included the heat pump, and this option doesn't come with a leftover lease under the bonnet. Start with the front of this old facelift Kona here. The lights here is just this single design. Now the pre-facelift model, I did a video about the pre-facelift, check that video up top right, but the lights here on the Hyundai Kona have always been changing and adapting. So when we look at the new one, yes, again, they've changed the lights on this new shape Kona. So this light design bar goes all the way across the front. Now at the moment it's flashing, that's just because of my camera, but ignoring that, the next thing we got is these new fog lights and a completely redesigned front end. I actually think this is the nicest the Kona has ever looked in all its editions. In fact, the facelift, I thought they just couldn't get any better. This is definitely the nicest looking design I've seen yet off Hyundai. Now, one thing does remain the same at the front, and that's the charge flap is still here, which I think Hyundai probably should have moved it maybe to somewhere a little bit more hidden. But you have got a new addition on this Ultimate model here, which is this front camera. There's a couple of other cameras in the car, which I'll show you in a minute, that do have some real nice features compared to the old Hyundai Kona. A couple of my friends have got Hyundai Konas, and one of the questions that one of them asked me to check on the new Kona was to do with this boot. So let's look at the old boot first to see the problem. Now, I did tell Oliver we're filming today, but clearly he's left all his crap in the back. So we'll have words with him later. But as you can see by the amount of crap in, most Kona owners fill their boot for their usual tip runs, and this has got absolutely everything in it. It's not a great size boot. It's quite small. In fact, a lot of people I know that went from Renault Zoes to Konas were shocked that the Kona boot is actually smaller than the tiny Renault Zoe. And people buying the e-Niro always like to boast to Kona owners how their boot is so much bigger. But the new Kona, in the new Kona, can you fit a Kona inside a Kona? And yes, you can. It is absolutely massive in here. And you've also now got an electronic tailgate, which means you can not only open it from inside automatically and close it, but you can also, inside the car, just press a button and shut and open that boot automatically. The outside is a big change visually, yes, but not as much as a visual striking distance that the interior has made to this car. This is the old facelift interior. It looked exactly the same as the old shape interior. So the new Kona is completely different. It's totally different. It's now exactly the same as the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6 interiors, which you'd expect from the new Kona. It's got this lovely wraparound dash. No more analog clocks here in front of you. They're a whole digital display. You've got this magnetic board here on the right, which no one can really tell me what it's for. And then this sat-nav screen now, rather than sticking out of the dash and looking like it was a Hyundai afterthought, it's actually just built into this wraparound dash. It makes a huge difference, but with some other differences in the interior as well. That includes now USB-C at the front, USB-C at the rear, which means now you've got a little bit of faster charging speed for your mobile phones, or even maybe powering a laptop off the front of these USB-Cs. You've also got wireless car charging here again at the front. There's just so much more features packed into the Ultimate. Something is majorly missing. The Ultimate, traditionally in Hyundai spec, used to just mean fully loaded, no more packs to add on, no more extras. I mean, there was a heat pump option in the other spec that now is included with this spec automatically. But now you've actually got two options to add to the Ultimate. Now this version that I'm sat in right now has got leather, which the old Ultimate also had. But leather is now an £800 option on the Ultimate. You only get half leather on the standard Ultimate, which I think is a bit of a kick in the teeth. You also don't get the what's called the Tech Pack, Ultimate Lux Pack. So the looks pack includes some real nice features like digital keys, memory seats, collision assist 2.0, don't know what that means, highway assist 2.0, which is what the Ioniq 5 used to have on until they downgraded it, remote park assist. It's got relax seats, which are the ones that basically fold completely flat to the back, and it's also got a heated charging door. Now that might be quite useful, especially in the UK, maybe Norway, where you know the flap might stick shut. But the fact that that looks pack is £1,500 extra, and then you've also got to spend another £800 leather, and then the ultimate starts at 43,095, which seeing the old shape ultimate finished selling at 40 grand. That's a £3,000 upgrade, and it's £3,800 if you wanted the same spec as the old ultimate with the leather included. Now we know we got vehicle to load on the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Hyundai Ioniq 6. We've also now got it on the Kona. But I already said you've got USB-Cs. Most devices plugged by USB-C and not 3-pin plug. But there is some devices that you can't power by USB-C and you do need a 3-pin plug. And they're always pretty much useless. In fact, I've always thought vehicle to load is one of the most pointless options ever. It's not vehicle to home, vehicle to grid, but finally found a proper use for vehicle to load. Now this adapter is not included with the Kona like it is with the Ioniq 6 and 5, but you can use the same adapter if you've got an Ioniq 6 or 5 or buy it from Hyundai. You plug it into the front of here, and then you get a 3-pin plug at the front of your car, and then you plug in this projector. And this projector is able to project EV-NIC videos on the back of a Tesla Model 3. Build quality seems a little bit higher. Some things that I really do like though are the new heads-up display. Rather than an after like the previous Kona, where it was just like a pop-up screen that looked a bit cheap and tacky, this is a proper projected heads-up display on the windscreen. Now, there is one thing I really don't like about the new Kona, and that is the new Kona key. Now this key fob does look cheap and nasty, and that's because it is, but it also has 2 keys. That's right, your emergency key is a separate key on your key fob, which, let's be honest, most people won't keep together. The battery will go flat in the keys and they won't be able to get in the car. This is a real negative really, and this is the same key that's on the Ioniq 6. I just feel when you spend this kind of money, you shouldn't be getting cheap keys like this Hyundai. However, one major improvement, apart from that annoying beeping that goes off every time I go over the speed limit, is the fact that when you indicate now, camera shows up on the left or the right. Now, we'll just get back to that beep in 1 second. That's now not an optional extra. That's forced within the program of Hyundai, and all new cars now. All new cars have to tell you when you go over the speed limit by beeping like that annoyingly. So if you want to turn it off, you're out of luck. Now, when you do indicate in this, there's a camera underneath the mirror that shows you on the front of this actual display, the camera on the right hand side or the left hand side, obviously depending on which way you're indicating, so you can see your blind spot yourself rather than rely on the one that's built into the car. Now, if you are thinking about getting the old Hyundai facelift or even the one before that, you might want to know the difference between those two cars. There is something about that coming up in a minute, but the range on this new Hyundai Kona compared to the facelift is different. It's actually less. Now, it's not to do with the fact that the car is any bigger, although that will have some negative effects. The main reason is you've now got 19-inch wheels, so the WLTP on this now is 282 miles. But if you're boring and you don't like style and your name's Kevin, then you might want to go for the 17-inch wheels, which is a free downgrade. Yeah, Hyundai aren't charging, how nice. And that will give you the 319 WLTP. Now, if you are interested in knowing the difference between the old Kona and the new Kona, then check out the video above my head right now, which is me comparing those two cars when I had them for test drive.